Today, in the media conference with LAL GOEL, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News गांव से, संवाद सारोकार न्यूज, भारत पोस्ट न्यूज, कारू न्यूज, Organ Donation India Foundation, and Gyan. Our endeavor is to bring to you every day a current topic and enlighten you about that. But today, before I will go to my topic, I would like to inform you all that there is an impact of media conference with LAL GOEL. And the impact is that we have done a program on 22nd November, this November only. On the program was on the farm laws. The topic was U-turn, how the farm laws has been taken back. So the topic was U-turn. And I received a message, and one of the panelists who participated in that, Mr. Paramatma Nand Pandey, he is the farmer and founder president of Utho Jago Foundation, Balia, UP. 1987 by James W. Bunn and Thomas Netter, two public information officers for the Global Program on AIDS at the World Health Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. Bunn and Netter took their idea to Dr. Jonathan Mann, director of the Global Program on AIDS, now known as UNAIDS. Dr. Mann liked the concept, approved it, and agreed with the recommendation that the first observance of World AIDS Day should be on 1st December 1988. Bunn, a former television broadcast journalist from San Francisco, had recommended the date of 1st December, that believing it would maximize coverage of World AIDS Day by Western news media sufficiently long following the US elections but before the Christmas holidays. In its first 2 years, the theme of World AIDS Day focused on children and young people. While the choice of the theme was criticized at the time by some for ignoring the fact that people of all ages may become infected with HIV, the theme helped alleviate some of the stigma surrounding the disease and boost recognition of the problem as a family disease. The joint United Nations program on HIV, AIDS, UNAIDS, became operational in 1996, and it took over the planning and promotion of World AIDS Day. Rather than focus on a single day, UNAIDS created the World AIDS campaign in 1997 to focus on year-round communications, prevention, and education. In 2004, the World AIDS campaign became an independent organization. Each year, Popes John Paul II and Benedict XVI have released a greeting message for patients and doctors on World AIDS Day. In the US, the White House began marking World AIDS Day with an iconic display of 28-foot, approximately 8.5-meter AIDS ribbon on the building's north portico in 2007. White House aide Stephen M. Levine, then serving in President George W. Bush's administration, proposed the display to symbolize the United States' commitment to combat the World AIDS epidemic through its landmark PEAPFAR program. The White House display, now an annual tradition across 4 presidential administrations, quickly garnered attention as it was the banner, sign, or symbol to prominently hang from the White House since the Abraham Lincoln administration. HIV or AIDS in India is an epidemic. The National AIDS Control Organization, NACO, estimated that 2.14 million people lived with HIV AIDS in India in 2017. Despite being home to the world's 3rd largest population of persons with HIV AIDS as of 2018, with South Africa and Nigeria having more, the AIDS prevalence rate in India is lower than that of many other countries. In 2016, India's AIDS prevalence rate stood at approximately 0.30%, the 80th highest in the world. Treatment of HIV or AIDS is primarily via a drug cocktail of antiretroviral drugs and education programs to help areas, resulting in a lack of awareness and in gender disparities. The government of India has also raised concerns about the role of intravenous drug use and prostitution in spreading AIDS. In India, with men injecting drug users and transgendering or hijras. India has been praised for its extensive anti-AIDS campaigning. According to Michelle Sedgwick, Executive Director of the Joint United Nations Program on HIV or AIDS, UNAIDS, India's success comes from using an evidence-informed and human rights-based approach that is backed by sustained political leadership and civil society. It allocated US dollars 430 million to 68 projects in Bhutan across key socio-economic sectors, including health, education, capacity building. In 2011, at Addis Ababa, the government of India further committed to accelerating technology transfer between its pharmaceutical sector and African manufacturers. The National AIDS Control Organization, NACO, has increased the number of centers providing free antiretroviral treatment, ART, from 54 to 91 centers, with 9 more centers to be operational soon. Medicines for treating 8,500 patients have been made available at these centers. All the 91 centers have trained doctors, counselors, and laboratory technicians to help initiate patients on ART and provide follow-up care with protecting confidentiality. Apart from providing free treatment, all the ART centers provide counseling to the infected persons so that they regularly take their medication. Continuity is the most important factor for the long-term effectiveness of the ART drugs, as disruption can lead to drug resistance. Responding to a petition made by NGOs in 2010, the Supreme Court of India directed the Indian government to provide second-line antiretroviral therapy, ART, to all AIDS patients in the country, warned the government against abdicating its constitutional duty of providing treatment to HIV positive patients on grounds of financial constraints, as it was an issue of the right to life guaranteed under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Although we have seen today in the COVID time how the private hospitals has taken so much money and the government has not followed the dictate of the Supreme Court, the fundamental rights under the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Previously, in an affidavit before the Supreme Court, NACO said second-line ART treatment for HIV patient costing rupees 28,500 each could not be extended to those who had received irrational treatment by private medical practitioners for the first round, which cost around rupees 6,500. The court rejected both the arguments of financial constraints and that only 10 viral load testing centers were needed for testing patients for migrating from the first line of treatment, as stated by the Solicitor General representing the government. HIV spending increased in India from 2003 to 2007. Currently, India spends about 5% of its health budget on HIV and AIDS. Spending on HIV or AIDS may create a burden in the health sector, which faces a variety of other challenges. Step up on its prevention efforts to decrease its spending of the health budget on HIV or AIDS in future. Apart from government funding, there are various international foundations like the UNDP, World Bank, Elton John AIDS Foundation, USAID, and other who are funding HIV or AIDS treatment in India. Current evidence suggests that people living with HIV have a higher risk of becoming seriously ill from COVID-19. People living with HIV who are not on treatment or virally suppressed may be at an even greater risk. World AIDS Day focuses on a specific theme every year. This year, theme is End Inequalities and AIDS and Pandemics. And to discuss this very, very important topic, World AIDS Day, we have a very knowledgeable, elite, and those who have experience to deal with the AIDS patients. Panelists are with us. And I would like to invite my first panelist guest, and she is Dr. Rukhsana Hassan. Dr. Rukhsana Hassan is renowned psychologist, trainer, coach, motivational speaker, special educator, a specialized counselor for the. She holds a PhD in social work and humanity from USA. She is postgraduate in Master of Arts from Mysore University, postgraduate in diabetic health educator from St. John's, Bangalore, and postgraduate in human rights, New Delhi, University in counseling psychology. Presently, she is doing her third PhD in applied science from Rajasthan University. She completed her research in a project about CSW in Bangalore city under Women Child Development, Government of Karnataka. She has done research about addictive personality, child's development, psychology, CDP. It was done with the Children of Observation Home Boys, Government of Karnataka. For the outstanding service towards humanity, she was awarded Indra Priyadarshini Award. She is the nominee of Kittur Rani Chennamma, Government of Karnataka, as the best social worker. She was awarded by Art Mantram Bangalore for Go Green Bangalore. She won Women's Achievers Award of N.A. Harris Foundation Bangalore. She has presented her papers at many international conferences at Turkey, Istanbul University, and mobile computer and training units with the help of Ministry of Labor, which benefits for the minority girls who are denied education for various reasons. Her title is Smiley Girl of the Town. She builds a new dawn in the darkest dusk just with positive smile. Welcome, Dr. Rukhsana Hassan, on our show. Dr. Rukhsana Hassan, you are dealing extensively with the drug abusers and those who are injecting the drugs in that. And as per the report which I read, it clearly mentioned that the HIV can be caused by injecting the drugs. Now, we would like to know your views on the today's very, very important days. And I would like to inform my viewers today. Viewers, for this type of topic like World AIDS Day, I contacted, I think, the maximum panelists, and I found the panelists are not interested to talk on this important topic. Why they are shying away? They have to come if they are doctors, if they are advocates, if they are dealing with AIDS, or they know about the society, how the society is suffering because of those who are getting the AIDS and HIVs knowingly and many times even unknowingly. Why they are shying away? If we will
Accident on that particular road, that Coles road, there was an accident. So the father was just on the way to his morning walk, and the father had an open wound on his little finger, a very big wound, and it was open. So doctor had told him to keep it open so that it will heal fast. So that was the first condition. The second condition was that the person who met with an accident had an head injury, and his it was bleeding profusely. It was bleeding. Had to keep the hand under the head, and the blood which was flowing had to touch his open wound over a period of time. So this was the particular incident. What happened over a period of time? The father was infected with HIV. Remember, he is the father of in a church. So that is the thing, that these fathers should not have any kind of sexual contact or things like that. And why I'm trying to say this particular case is that how we were unaware about this particular disease. Then, after a period of 6 months to 8 months, the father had fever, and then the fever was not, he was not healing. It was already 1 month, and then 1.5 months. Then he started cough. Then after that, he had a running nose. Then he had vomiting and diarrhea. Only then the doctor had an suspect, and then they said, "Why don't we do this blood test in HIV?" which came positive. You just can't imagine after that what happened. The father committed suicide. The father. highly educated, telling people, and even he was not able to take that social thing, the social hammering what was happened. So he thought people will not trust whatever I have done. He just committed suicide. I can tell you number of families which have undergone these kind of things. Another incident what I would like to tell is with the women and child. I never used to go and sleep. That means if a person is like this, if a person is having this kind of problem, how the family rejects. So it was a kind of emotional trauma for us to undergo with all these things. And what was the worst thing? Even the government was not prepared. As now we all are fighting with this corona and other things. It was the same condition if you go 2 decades back in the 90s, in the late 90s, in the early 2000s. So this was the kind of conditions what we were undergoing. But now, the situation in 95 to 2000 again, 2000 to 2004, we changed the revolution in such a way, telling that the HIV patient can live a normal life with certain terms and conditions of their living conditions, and then they had to, they just had to see what they had to do and what not. Later on, it came up that especially now for drugs, we go to the school students, we go to the parents. But this particular awareness we started with the working people from BSNL, from ITI, and Bell. These were the places, where we went to say what exactly HIV is, what AIDS was, and what exactly this, how exactly this will take place. It is not only because of the sexual contact. So after that, in 2003, 4, 5, we also conducted many marriages. Like there is one male and one female where both are infected, and then we saw that both are married, and by God's grace, some of the couples are still alive. Some of the couples are still alive. So that is the one thing. And these were one of the conditions where Freedom Foundation was taking care to a larger extent in Bangalore. Like we had about 350 adults and some 800 children. So this was the kind of conditions what an NGO called as Freedom Foundation was taking care. But after 2 decades, if I see the people, they have aramse accepted. They have aramse accepted, okay, this is what it is. And they have also taken the precautions. They have learned, what exactly, how exactly these things will take place. They have understood. They have understood, and now they are not. It's not that, those days prostitution was there and now the prostitution has cut. No, everything is same. But HIV has reduced to a larger extent. Only one reason, what I feel, what I understand in this 20 years, 22 years of this field is people are aware. Second thing, people have accepted. Third thing, people know that this is not the only form there where this has been transmitted. It's not only because of sexual contact. It is various other things which get injected, which have a cut, and all these things which is being told. One big program what the Women and Child Development took was, I still remember those days standing on that Tumkur Road highway, and where all these trucks were built. We used to stand there and we used to tell, if you have any kind of sexual contact, how do you protect? Like we had to come up openly to them and speak, yes, this was HIV, this is how it gets infected. In case being truck drivers, those days we had and research that this was highly transmitted or infected in the truck drivers. So I remember one is in Sakleshpur and one is in Tumkur highway, where we had camps and where we had to train and make them aware what in few of the hospitals that the patient, normal patient, when they used to come, what is the injection, what is the disposal injection before you take that, get that injection injected in your body, how exactly you have to see whether it is in the pack or whether they are reusing it. You remember those days, it was just same injection, the same syringe was used for multiple people only by dipping in the hot water. They just put it in the hot water, sterilize, and then take, and they used to. Only then later on, this disposals came up. So even because of that, many families got infected. Many of them were not able to take it in the social world. So they committed suicide. Some got isolated. Some left the place from one place to another place. So there are various cases what I can tell, especially related to this. That is what even the other day when I was just speaking to one of the bureaucrats, I was telling, sir, 22 years, 20 years before you go back and see how HIV was and how they thought, it was the greatest crime and it was the biggest sin that, if somebody is with HIV. But today, when the top big Bs started promoting and they became the brand ambassador, now everybody has said, yes, HIV is a part and parcel of our life. This is how we have to be. This is how we have to take the precautions. Once we go to the salon, once we use the blade, once we go to the hospital, once we have any kind of, sex with a partner whom you are not aware. So that was the major thing what we have achieved today to a bigger extent, and very few cases we come across these days. Maybe out of 100, some 5 to 6 cases. But that is the only thing what I keep telling back to my field, that I have also been worked addicts and alcoholics. In drug addicts and alcoholics, sexual contact is very less, but exchange of syringe was more. So for especially for the drug addicts, who were on that injection. So we had to tell them, what was disposal thing, what was the disposal syringe, how, why you shouldn't use the same syringe and you shouldn't share your needles with others. So these are the few things what we have really achieved on a larger extent, where today's generation may not be aware about the war what we had taken, to bring this change. So this is the only example, classical example what I give. If you give any program a better awareness in a proper focus, 100% success is that. Thank you, LAL GOEL, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Hassan. If you give a proper awareness, then 100% success will be there, said Dr. Rukhsana Hassan. First of all, I must congratulate Dr. Rukhsana Hassan that 15, 20 years back to stand on a highway and explaining this to the truck driver is not an easy thing. When today people are not ready to talk, just imagine. So it's a really, you have done a really very, very good social service. Hats off to you. And what she says is that even educated people are not understanding that this can come happen if you are not taking full precautions. It can come if you are using the same needle has been used in you, which has been used by for some other person. Even with the blood transfusions, many times we have heard that this type of infection has come. So one has to be very, very careful and must be aware whenever they are going for the blood transfusion, or even for the for any wound they have, or anywhere they can be in touch contact with someone. But she has explained, and she has also mentioned about a tragic suicide of the father, how he was doing the service, but he got the infected, but he could not, because of the stigma, the public outcry, he could not tolerate, and he has to commit suicide. Although now the time is changing and people are understanding about the HIV, as she has also mentioned. Thank you very much, Dr. Rukhsana Hassan. Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and she is Dr. Charu Maheshwari. Dr. Charu Maheshwari is MBBS DGO DNB. She is a obstetrician and gynecologist at Rainbow Hospital, Aligarh. She is a dedicated and caring obstetrician and gynecologist with 15 plus years of experience in clinical practice, helping about 40 clients daily with their reproductive elements. She is a member of Indian Medical Association and FOXI, that is Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecology Society of India. Presently working as a specialist consultant in Rainbow Hospital, Aligarh, and dealing with patients with high risk pregnancy, infertility, and other reproductive problems. She has performed 2000 plus complicated cesareans sections with favorable outcome with patient satisfaction. She, as a senior laparoscopy surgeon, performed more than 100 cases of infertility, total laparoscopic hysterectomy, ovarian cysts, myomectomy, and other reproductive disorder. She has done her MBBS degree course from Government Medical College, Thrissur, Kerala, diploma in obstetrics and gynecology PG course from Aligarh University, and was awarded gold medal for outstanding performance. She did her diplomate in National Board from Batra Hospital and Medical Research Center, New Delhi. Welcome, Dr. Charu Maheshwari, on our show. Dr. Maheshwari, you have heard what Dr. Rukhsana Hassan has mentioned. She, being a social worker, she has done at that time, and at that time I still remember how the people were educating about and scared about the HIV and AIDS. It was very, very scary at that time. But due to the proactive roles of the NGOs and as well as the government of that time, this we can say that yes, we have reduced, but still many, many people are affected. And as per the latest report, the COVID is also been, it's very, very, you can say that these HIV patients are vulnerable for the COVID. And the latest South African variant, they says that it has come from a HIV patient only. We would like to know from you your views, and especially from the medical side, because you are dealing with the pregnancy of the ladies as well as the deliveries. You might come across many ladies or women who are suffering from HIV, how you have dealt with them, and what is your take about the on this World AIDS Day. Dr. Charu Maheshwari, please.
Good morning, sir. First of all, thanks to all of you to inviting me on this platform on the World HIV/AIDS Day. It's not the day where we are celebrating something, but this is the day where we want to know our rights and we want to know what are the things we can do to bring down this HIV/AIDS. Our main aim is to eradicate AIDS by 2030. That we have taken in consideration in the last phase what we have planned. So as you know, I am in UP and UP is very in bad situation in all these conditions, whether it is electricity or whether it is anything. But still, I would like to tell you that now people are listening. Even if a common person is saying that yes, there is no electricity in my village, and the next day that Mantri and Mukhyamantri is acting, that's very good thing and very positive that we will become from UP to Kerala, we can go. That's very good thing. So now coming to HIV and AIDS, first of all, I would like to give you the only the medical views. Otherwise, Dr. Rukhsana has very much nicely explained about the social implications. So I would like to tell you first what is the difference between HIV and AIDS. HIV is the human immunodeficiency virus. When it enters in the body, that is the HIV. Patient is HIV infected. But what is AIDS? AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. That is a body condition. Our body, when HIV had replicated that so much that our immune system has weakened so much that we are having a lot of infection, whether it is COVID, whether it is tuberculosis, whether it is viral infection, whether it is a fungal infection, or whether it is so many malignancies, because our immune system has weakened down. So AIDS is the last stage of the HIV infection. So why we want to differentiate? Because our treatment is mainly at the HIV infection stage only. We cannot treat AIDS. Once the immune system has so much weakened down, we cannot treat. So the early detection of the cases is become very important. This what happens, this HIV virus, it is an RNA virus. It enters in our body and it attacks on CD4 cells. Why I am telling? Because these are the things which are important in planning the treatment of that patient, and what are the tests we need to do these type of patients. So these are the CD4 cells which are mainly in our body for to combat the infection caused by the virus. So when these cells goes down, our body immunity system weakens, as you said already. So when the immunity system weakens, because of lack of the body protective mechanism, the other infections which are generally we get infection and which are cleared from a normal human body by its by unknown mechanisms. But once the immune system is weakened, these type of infection like pneumocystitis carini, pneumonia type, and tuberculosis and other like yeast fungal infection, especially in esophagus and tongue, so common in these type of patients. So in this case, what we have to do, we have to find out as early as possible that they had got the HIV. How do we find out? We have the few tests. We have the HIV antigen test, we have the HIV antibody test, and then further confirmatory test, that is Western blot, Southern blot are there. Again, HIV is again of two types, HIV-1 and HIV-2. In our India or worldwide, HIV-1 is more common. So we more concentrate on that. So importance is this, ki if we are getting infection with the HIV and if we have started treatment very early, so we can slow down the disease process, and secondly, we can improve the survival of that patient very well. Third thing, how does you will come to know that you got the HIV infection? There is a window period also. Once you got the infection and then the manifestations. So you should know what are the mode of transmission. Ma'am has told very nicely, Dr. Ruxana, that it is of course sexual abusers. In the case of rapes, there are chances. Then doctors are very high risk because they are operating, they are in contact with these type of patients. So how does it get? It is more in the blood. So if you are in touch of with blood of that patient, of the HIV positive patient, and secondly, if you are in sexual contact with this type of patients, so they are the like man to man transmission is more common than male to female. Then female to male, female to male is very less common, but male to female is more common. Then drug abusers, and then of course blood transfusion, and last but not least, from mother to the baby, that is known as vertical transmission. So we have to work on this, and we have to find out the high risk people, that these people are high risk. Then we have to take the precautions. Then secondly, if we also should know that there are the some things which does not spread HIV infection, like hugging, like touching those patients and sharing same utensils, like these things does not spread HIV infections. So we should not see these HIV patients as they are untouchables. We should take care of that, because once if you will start ignoring that patient, that mentally disturbance is also weakens their immune system. So we have to take care that also. Now comes the okay, what is the importance of CD4 cells? If CD4 cells counts is good, then the body immune system, that means it is functioning, and then we can boost up their immunity. But if the CD4 counts has come down, that we can test by blood test. Lab test is very good. They can tell you if it is 200 to 500, it is good count, and if it is less than 200, these type of patients cannot be saved, because they will have persistent fever, they will have fatigue, weight loss, and diarrhea, and their blood is full of HIV infection, and they are very much infected. So we have to find out these patient needs only rehabilitation and not much treatment. But the patient who are having good immune system, we should start treatment. Achha, next thing is, I would like to say that yes, we had decreased HIV. The patient had made very much aware about this, and the patient are accepting the fact that how we can prevent use. They are using condoms. they have also had this knowledge ki syringes to that mother, we have to have tell her that how she has to prepare the milk for her baby in totally sterile conditions. That is very important. Otherwise, breastfeeding is better than that of formula milk if she is not that much educated that she can prepare. Immune system, when it weakened and it started, HIV got started replicating, then only it came in the blood and it showed the and it came the positive. So these things we have to carry in mind before giving the treatment and before labeling a patient that he's HIV positive. And more important thing, if the patient is positive, this thing should be kept in confidential. We should not tell in publicly that you are HIV positive. So there are some things we have to maintain. These are the rights of the patient, that we cannot disclose her disease to everyone. So that much I would like to say about HIV. That is.
Okay, okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much, Dr. Charu Maheshwari, for enlightening all of us about the medical side of HIV and the difference between HIV and AIDS. And what Dr. Maheshwari has mentioned very, very clearly, she has given all the situations when the HIV can come and can convert in AIDS. And she has also mentioned then HIV can be stopped or the AIDS cannot be there. To the doctor, so the doctor can start the treatment immediately. And she also mentioned very clearly that this person is diagnosed or is suffering from HIV. He or the doctor should not, or no, the other persons or the family members should not disclose it in the public, so there's no social stigma. And according to Dr. Charu Maheshwari, nowadays good medicines are there which can cure even 100% many times the HIV. And this is only possible if the time window, that is very, very important, if we will take the precautions immediately. And Dr. Charu Maheshwari is of the view that especially for the ladies, those who have suffered with the rape, they must go for the test, because they don't know who has raped, the profile of the rapist, and then the problem can come. But it is as per the government direction now, it is happening everywhere. And that's why even those who are been raped, and many times it happens that neither the girl is either reporting or the family is reporting, and ultimately the girl has to suffer. So it is always better that if anyone has suffered for the rape, then she should complain immediately to the family, and family should complain to the police without fail, so that the police can get her checked up properly, so that no HIV symptoms should be there. Thank you very much, Dr. Charu Maheshwari, for enlightening all of us thoroughly as far as the medical side is concerned. Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and she is Miss Rashmi Tripathi. Miss Rashmi Tripathi is an entrepreneur, trainer, counselor, coach, speaker, and author based at Ahmedabad. She is the founder and managing director of Rashmi Groups of Companies, RGC. She is founder and CEO of Unique Trainings. She is also founder and CEO of Connect Content Digitally, CCD. Welcome, Ms. Rashmi Tripathi on our show. Ms. Rashmi Tripathi, you have heard what Dr. Rukhsana Hassan as well as what Dr. Charu Maheshwari has spoken. And both have given their views. Dr. Rukhsana Hassan mentioned as far as the social aspect of the HIV patient, and Dr. Charu Maheshwari about the medical aspect of the HIV. We would like to know from you your views about on the World AIDS Day. Miss Rashmi Tripathi, please. Please unmute.
Thank you, Goel ji.
Please switch on. Please switch on your video.
Yes.
Switch on your video and unmute yourself. No, we can't see you. Ms. Rashmi Tripathi, we can't see you. Please unmute yourself and switch on your video. Yeah, please switch on your video. Device. Yes, we see you now. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay.
Just
Thank you,
stable
Goel
the.
ji.
Just stable. No, we can't see. Come in the center, please. Come in the center. You are at the one side. Yes, yes, please. Now go ahead.
Yes. So inconvenience. Thank you, Goel ji. My greetings to all the panelists and a very pleasant morning to all of you. Today on 1st December, the day of World's AIDS Day, the term AIDS. The very first and initial thing that comes on mind is awareness and prevention. No doubt, I'll be including both the terms in my discussion, but I would initiate my talk by going back to the decades when the HIV originated. As it is a blur picture now, likewise, when we suffered from this pandemic, COVID-19, there was a curiosity in the beginning that from where this virus came. Similarly, in the decades of HIV, in around 1920, the same scenario might have happened. So I would like to recall the scenario, the origin of HIV. It's widely believed that HIV, which is abbreviated as Human Immunodeficiency Virus, originated in Kinshasa, which is located in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is also known as the biggest city and capital city of Democratic Republic of Congo. Up till 1980s, the number of people infected with HIV or who developed AIDS was literally unknown. HIV has been a subject of scientific research and debate since the virus was not identified till 1980. But in the year 1999, researchers, with the help of study and thorough research, came with the matter of fact and conclusion that HIV is a type of lentivirus, which means it attacks the immune system directly. Similarly, they came with alternate virus, which was known as SIV, which is abbreviated as simian immunodeficiency virus, which also attacks the immune system but of monkeys. So, how is the link between SIV and HIV? So, in the same year, 1999, researchers found a stain of SIV in a chimpanzee that was almost identical to HIV, and which was proved that HIV in human was spread by chimpanzees. Coming with the fact that HIV used to be of two types in the early decades when HIV came into existence. This fact came into existence that HIV consists of two types. The first one is HIV-1, which was believed to be transmitted from chimpanzees, whereas the second type, HIV-2, which was believed to be transmitted from monkeys. So now a question arises that from where did human beings got affected from HIV? So there was a whole link of a cycle where chimpanzees got affected by monkeys and human beings got affected by chimpanzees by the way of consuming animals. And the second one was during the process of hunting. Chimpanzees used to eat hunt monkeys, due to which they were affected by HIV, and in turn human beings used to consume chimpanzees, and during the hunting process, they used to get diagnosed by HIV, which later turned into AIDS. So this was the origin from where HIV actually came into existence. So that was from chimpanzees, same as which we had a like controversial debate and discussion on corona, as it came from animal, or actually what was the reason. It's still a point of debate and discussion. But during 1999, it was literally proved by researchers that HIV came from chimpanzees. So now coming to the main and common and very useful point that I spoke in my initial talk, that was prevention, the term prevention and awareness. So I think these both terms are interrelated when we talk about any disease, because if there is no awareness, obviously how can one prevent about it? So talking about awareness, I will divide the discussion into two separate perspectives. The first one is positive and the second one is negative. I will tell you how it is positive and how it is negative. When we talk about positivity, it is the matter of fact, truth. And we talk about the negative aspect, that is misconception which people, folks are containing, which are they are having in them. So that is lack of information and know-how. So coming to the positive point of awareness. So one should be aware of how to prevent AIDS, how to prevent HIV. In turn, they can prevent AIDS. So the very main point is AIDS or HIV is getting transmitted in human beings, that is through sexual intercourse. This is one reason. The second one is through the multiple use of same syringe or injection in laboratories and hospitals. Now, talking about the prevention part, so talking about sexual intercourse, I would say that one should adopt or use the contraceptive measures to avoid the transmission of AIDS and HIV, as it is like contact from blood. Then the second is where I would say hospitals and laboratories need to take care of refraining the multiple usage of syringe and injections. Uh, Immediately after a single use, the syringe and injection should be disposed. So even here, public plays a big role whenever they find any such act of multiple use, or even more than a single use of any syringe or any injection in any private or whether that be government hospital. They should raise their voice so that the same incident wouldn't repeat again. So this is where public plays a role. And the second is it is very much advisable for each one of us to take a regular medical checkup for HIV. Now, coming to the present scenario of the rate and ratio of HIV, now I would like to go to the report of Government of India of the year 2019, a recent report of India, which says that around 23.49 lakhs of people are still living with HIV and AIDS. So here I think that the awareness of the prevention of AIDS should have a widespread, that can be done through counseling and coach. Being a counselor and coach, I say that there should be a regular session arranged not only for the AIDS patient but for general people, for communicating them the prevention and the real picture or the scenario of AIDS, rather than the misconception which people are having, through which they are causing some problem to the AIDS people. Like the problem, like even they are not ready to talk to them, they're not ready to serve them, they're not even ready to have even basic touch, physical touch with them, okay, or even empathizing them. So this may be eradicated in a very large scale, I guess, by the program of counseling and coaching on regular basis. Well, I agree to Dr. Ruxana, where she said that now in this era, in 21st century, there's a lot of awareness and enlightening of AIDS prevention and awareness. But still, seeing to the ratio of the present number of people suffering from AIDS, I seriously suggest measure in all the hospitals or even by government or even private sectors or even private counselors, coaches, their company, if they are running, if they are working as a freelancer, they can conduct any such programs relating to the counseling coaching on regular basis. So I would like to request all the public or the one who are listening me to take initiative to eradicate the discrimination which we are doing with such people, where there's a lack of empathizing, a lack of awareness, a lack of know-how. So this can be done in a large scale and for sure. So the number which is around 24 lakhs people who are still living with AIDS, that can be reduced in a very high level, I guess. So this is a request to the general people and even to the government. If some government executive or any panel member is listening to us, they can arrange counseling and coaching on regular basis, or even it can be prepared some plan, or even that can be taken an initiative at least. Though that has not been till now, I guess. So it can be started from this 2020, 21, 22 in the present era. So that was all what I wanted to speak from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Rashmi Tripathi, for giving your views. I would like to just correct one thing. I think you have mentioned about 2-3 lakhs of HIV. I think they are millions. That is about 20 lakhs or so. That you can just verify, because my data, it's that about 2.14 million people lived with HIV/AIDS in India in 2017. So that can be checked up. But what Miss Rashmi Tripathi says is that it is very, very important that everyone who is undergoing, just hold on, please yourself, Miss Tripathi. What she says is that whosoever is undergoing with the any blood transfusion or any injections, and especially not in a good hospitals, in some small hospitals or a private doctors, or they should go regularly HIV test, etc. And please yourself, Miss Rashmi. There's some disturbance. Yeah. So now, and she has also giving the details, the data, how it is started, how it was seen in chimpanzee and in a human being. And has appealed everyone that we must come forward and see to it that those who are suffering must get all the treatment in time, and they must be not put away from us, so that the people will have that social stigma. Thank you very much, Mr. Rashmi Tripathi, for giving your views. Now, my question goes to Dr. Rukhsana Hasan. Before I will tell you, ask a question, I will tell you, like you were mentioning about the uh, social stigma and others. My experience, my own experience is that there is a place called Sneha Sadan at 𝐂𝐀𝐑𝐔, Mangalore. It is run by a father, a Christian missionary, and they were having children from the age of 6 months to at that time about 15 or 18 years old, and about more than 60 children were there. And somebody approached me and they wanted some donation. I said, no, I will not give any donation. I would like to see myself what is the situation. And when I went there, and we found that they're really conditions of those children, and they were treated very nicely with that organization, with the NGO. And uh, and I was so much moved, because I wanted to know why these children are suffering from HIV. They have not done committed any sexual act, and they were very small. And then the father explained to us that because some were abandoned by the parents who were HIV patient, uh, so the disease has been transmitted. Somebody has got the wrongly the blood transfusion or the needles, and the family has discarded them, and that's why they have bought. I was very much moved. And then the father mentioned to me that the government used to give the medicines free of cost to them, but somebody has now moved to the government that no private NGOs to be given any medicine. This I'm talking about 6 years or back, this incident. And then they says that has been stopped, and the medicines costing out 32,000 rupees per month for its dose. And he said it's very, very difficult. I asked them, okay, what I can do is I can pass the message to the minister of that area, Mr. Abhay Jain. I asked them to write a letter. I spoke to Mr. Jain, and I was so happy to inform our viewers within 2 days that medicines which they were getting free of charge, the supplies has restored again, and the father was very much happy. But still, I said, no, I would like these children to perform, because I have seen that they were performing some music, dance, and other things. So I kept a program on Dashera Day. I invited the who's who of Mangalore, and those children, when they performed before the program, few were talking that why you have invited these children, why not some artists? But after their performance, and when I spoke and I said these children has done nothing wrong, they are suffering because of the society, and if we are treating them as untouchable, as Dr. Charu has mentioned, that they are not untouchable, we have to give them the full love and care, because the father told me that few of them are not going to survive, and the children were also knowing, so one can understand the plight of those children. But and I was so happy that everyone after the program appreciated, and few of them have given the whatsoever financial or in the kind help to that southern. So these types of NGOs are working here and there. Now my question goes to you, Dr. Rukhsana Hassan, is do you think still the government has to take a proactive role? They are doing very nice work. The government, I must say, the state, central government and the state governments are doing very good work as far as the AIDS control is concerned, HIV is concerned. That's why the it is going down. But still, as Dr. Charu Maheshwari is saying, mentioning that by 2030 it should be, the goal is to be zero. Whether you think that government should come forward and do some more proactive role, and the NGOs should also come forward, especially the field of HIV and AIDS. Dr. Rukhsana Hassan, please.
Yes. Thank you, LAL GOEL sir. As we have discussed in this discussion, that unless and until we reach to that zero tolerance, we have to work, and the government should never withdraw the support, because HIV patient is not a one-time patient. This we have to remember, that if in some NGO has rescued a child in 2010, that particular 2010 is to 2021 now. So the child is now 12 years. The responsibilities are much more than when the child was rescued. So there is no way of the government denying or withdrawing. If the government denies and withdraws, only we have to say how uninformed is the bureaucracy. How can you say that an HIV institution which is running can be closed? It cannot. And if they have some patient, as Dr. Charu said, they are still treated like untouchables. Oh, he has HIV. It may get infected to us, even if I touch them. In such a scenario, how will the government? It is only the NGO who can work. I can bet you that no government organization will take up the initiative of whatever an NGO does. This is my personal experience over a period of 3 decades. Yeah, see, no field or no industries is 100%. There are few NGOs which are here and then black and white. We can't go to them. Let us talk about the real NGOs. Out of the 100, the 90 which are working, the 90 NGOs which are working. Let us talk about that. I will not deny, or I will not say, no, all NGOs are 100%. No, there are 10%. Let us not talk about them. Even if one NGO has lit a life of one family, that itself is a big achievement. Giving donations, charity, we have conducted many charity shows for such patients, for such organizations. So it is not only the government. Even if the government gives, the government maybe they supply only the medicines or the basic needs. Even for the other things, the people like you and me should come up and should really visit them. Just don't give the money. Visit them and see what exactly they are doing. You did a right job, by visiting. You now you are so much you are so much well qualified with that particular NGO that you will be going and telling others, okay, this is what it is, this is how it is. So by visiting them and by knowing what is their gravity, what is their work, in this way we can find a better solution, and we can work in a better form and encourage the people who are working. Remember, as Dr. Charu said, the doctors are, it is the biggest threat for the doctors. So in spite of that, the doctors really work. That's a great thing. The NGOs, in spite of knowing, they sit with them, they eat with them, they sleep with them, they do everything. This is a thankless job, and nobody can say, okay, they are doing an excellent job. No, that is not the word at all. That is the ultimate. If God is, if you want to see God on the earth physically in presence, please visit such NGOs. They work selflessly. They don't even want somebody to thank them. So in this condition, if the government withdraws the little support what they are giving, I should just say it is a shame for us.
Thank
That's
you,
it.
Dr. Rukhsana Sand. And I saw one tear coming out from your eye when you are speaking or when you started speaking. It shows that how much caring you are for the public, and especially those who are suffering. Thank you very much, Dr. Rukhsana Sand. Now my question goes to Dr. Charu Maheshwari. Dr. Charu Maheshwari, everywhere the report is that the HIV patients are very much vulnerable for COVID. How to prevent them? After all, they are suffering, that small children are suffering. How they can be prevented from COVID? Is there any extra precaution they have to take whatsoever we are taking, the public is taking, by wearing mask or hand sanitization or keeping distance, or any other thing medically you would like to suggest? Dr. Maheshwari, please.
Yes, sir. These patients are vulnerable, not only COVID, any infection, they are very much vulnerable. So these patients has to take general precautions. Of course, they should take, like they should wear mask, they should avoid public gathering. These things are always there, but also they should take continued treatment as per advice, and also they should get treatment for the health well-being, like their hemoglobin should be good, so that they have some immunity to prevent these infections. Secondly, I would like to say these patients, what they are giving treatment, they should also undergo the lab test also, which detect CD4 count cells, which can show that how is their immunity status. And any infection, if you have the suspicion, like they can be the COVID, they can be the another infection, so that also should be taken care of at very early stage, so that we can prevent and slow down the process of the ongoing disease, and we can give the better treatment to these type of patients, and also the better survival rate of these patients. These HIV infection is as such is not a threat, but the infections which other infection goes in this body, they can create the problem. I had the patient I've delivered, even the cesarean section is having very high risk. The patient get immunocompromised that time also. Like after cesarean, the patient is very high risk that they can get infection. So if we can prevent with giving the good antibiotics and taking all sterile precautions, these patients do come out with very positive outcome, and even we can prevent, especially for the kids. We should take care that kids should not get infection, because they are our future, they are our future generation. If they get infected, that is very bad from our point, that we are not giving proper care. Although health sector is very much underdeveloped in India, that we can not reach up to the villages where the patient really needs this type of care.
recording
Sorry, Dr. Rukhsana Hasan, please be on mute.
And
Yes,
any
sorry.
HIV patient should have an institutional delivery to prevent vertical transmission from mother to fetus. That's all, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Charu Maheshwari, for giving your views. Now my question goes to Ms. Rashmi Tripathi. Rashmi Tripathi, do you think that more social interaction can help them? I will tell you as I was mentioning about that program which I organized for Dashera. In that program, the producer of one Hindi movie called Bajrangi Bhaijaan, Mr. Rajesh Bhatt, he is from Mangalore. He also attended the program, and he was so moved that he phoned me and he wanted that those all the children of that Sneha Sadan to be invited for a special screening he has kept of Bajrangi Bhaijaan in a multiplex, and there those children were taken. And afterwards, the feedback which I got, the children were so happy. Even at the program, when he declared that I am going to keep this program, and those children were hugging him, touching his hand, taking his autograph. Small children, and he was I can say he was in tears. So, do you think more and more social interactions to be given taken with keeping all the precaution, not right now because of the COVID, but in the normal times, it will help those HIV people, the in sufferers, to at least get some solace, as Dr. Charu said, that few of them, the count is less than 200, they will not survive, they require rehabilitation. But those who can survive, they also require some space in the society. Instead of they will commit suicide or they will take some action which is not desirable. What do you say about this, Rashmi Tripathi?
Yes, definitely, Goelji. It will be a very good initiative if we go through such programs like social programs. It is a way of empathizing actually, and empathy anywhere, whether that be in any social cause or that may be in your personal professional life, that creates wonders actually. As it is said that empathy heals. Similarly, I think that if we start empathizing with different ways, like conducting some programs or maybe some interaction, some group activity, that create wonders. That may heal. It may be like psychologists say, we counselors and even coaches have proved that interaction and empathizing, that is one of the healing point, whatever, no, irrespective of the disease that is, because any disease that mainly affects psychologically, mentally, rather than physically. So we can take a step towards the mental health and emotional health through this, I think.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Rashmi Tripathi, for giving your views. Now, I would like Dr. Rukhsana Hassan. Dr. Rukhsana Hassan, are you there? Dr. Rukhsana Hassan, are you there? Please unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm there. I'm there.
Okay, Dr. Rukhsana Hassan, any one suggestion you would like to give to the government for in this? Just one suggestion, please. Switch on your video. Dr.
Yes,
Rukhsana
sir.
Hassan, switch on your video, please.
The only suggestion what I would like to give to the government is, uh, if you if you are able to appreciate and upgrade these NGOs, they will have a better future. The children will have a better future. See, as of now, in all the NGOs where we have this, adults are very few and children are more.
Okay.
So that is
Thank you.
basically.
And one suggestion, Dr. Charu Maheshwari, you would like to give to the government. Please unmute, Dr. Charu Maheshwari.
Sir, government is doing a lot of work. Although there are some problems are there, there should be better advertisement that how we can use these type of conferences like this. We had this on World AIDS, and these should be made very frequent with the public so that they will come to know what are the things available and what
Okay.
how can we improve other things also.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ms. Rashmi Tripathi, one suggestion for the government.
Yes, as I mentioned in my speech, that there should be different programs, as social programs or any counseling or coaching sessions that should be arranged for better awareness and prevention. Rather than, I would like to request the government for vaccine. For example, like we had a vaccine for corona. Similarly, if we get something for AIDS, that may not at
Okay.
least
Okay.
cure it.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please unmute. Please mute yourself. Thank you. So viewers, you have seen today that although the world is observing World AIDS Day, and no doubt about it, our government, whether central government or state governments, have done very good, as especially in as far as the prevention of AIDS or HIV is concerned. But still miles to go, as we have kept it this target of 2030 for the zero patients for the HIV. But this is only possible when every one of us, the civil society, also participate. After all, they are not untouchable. They are suffering for some reasons, might be not their fault. One has to understand, we must accept them. They are also human being like us. Only thing is they are undergoing treatment, and for that we must be sympathetic, but we must give them the full position as we are giving to any other human being. And as our panelist has mentioned, if we will interact with them, and if we will do more, create more awareness, as Dr. Maheshwari has mentioned, then this day can be celebrated, not only observed, when we can proudly say nobody is going dying for the AIDS. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, Caru News, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our is in our endeavor to bring to you every day new topic in media conference with LAL GOEL at 10:30 a.m. And tomorrow in media conference with LAL GOEL at 10:30 a.m. the topic is strategic financial management tips for women. So please tune in tomorrow. And the panelists are Dr. Rajiv Anand, is the senior psychiatrist and marriage counselor, Mumbai; Miss Manju Sharma, financial advisor, Jaipur; Miss Mrinalini Avasthi, Nikki, child is psychologist, Pune; and Miss Purvi Manish Dalal, investment consultant, strategies, prime wealth, Surat. So please tune in tomorrow for media conference with LAL GOEL at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much, Dr. Ruxana Hasan. Thank you very much, Dr. Charu Maheshwari, and thank you very much, Ms. Rashmi Tripathi, for giving and enlightening everyone on this day. And thank you very much, all the viewers, for watching our show. And please keep watching our show. And in case if you feel that any show has given you some enlightenment, and if you want to take advantage, please circulate and share with those who can change something, like what Mr.